Hello everyone, it is your girl Cam. You guys probably know me from Instagram as bunz Cam. I am a NASM certified personal trainer, former ballerina, and Pilates and bar instructor. So today I have for you guys, as you have probably seen if you follow me on my Instagram account, 5 reasons why your glutes might not be growing. And if you are wondering why I decided to do an audio today, or audio only today, besides doing a video like I normally do, it is because last time I had so many different issues recording on my phone, so I thought better be safe than sorry and just do an audio recording. So if you guys like this better than the YouTube videos, I know some people like the audio only better, but you can be up and about doing other things while you're still listening in. So yeah, let me know in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram and let me know if you guys like this style better. So today, getting into the meat and potatoes of why all of you guys are here, I have lots of good information for you today, as I have learned over the years of being a trainer. So the first reason why your glutes might not be growing is your form. Yes, we all know our form is very important. So a couple of form tips for specifically glute or leg day exercises, certain things like arching your back when you're doing kickbacks, or fire hydrants on the ground, or any type of abduction movement is something that you don't want to do. Definitely don't want to arch your back on some of these exercises. Placement of the weight. So for instance, if you are doing a squat, just for an example, and at the peak of your squat, you might be up on your toes, which is going to activate more of the front part of your leg, your quads, and also the weight placement. Where exactly is the best place to place that weight in order to get the most engagement in your glutes or in the body part that you are trying to work? So when you are targeting your glutes, you definitely want to be mindful of where your weight placement is throughout your feet, throughout your chest, and throughout your hips. So make sure that you take the time to really get your form down. And if you need to ask for help from a trainer or do your homework, Google the proper form. Definitely make sure it's from a credible source. And just do some research on how to perform an exercise correctly. It never hurts to either check yourself or to allow yourself to be a beginner again if needed. The next thing going over or relating to your form is execution. How are you executing the exercise that you're trying to target those glutes with? And here, yes, it goes back to form, but also making sure that your movements are fluid, you're not swinging any weight around or swinging any legs around. Everything is very nice and controlled and precise, and you are exercising your mind to muscle connection. And this can be a huge one if you are 100% certain that you have your form down, you don't know why, you can't feel it in your glutes, but you are 100% certain that your form is perfect. Really stop to think about what muscle you're trying to work here. The next part of your form relates to if you are warming up properly. So going right into a leg workout without getting your heart rate up, doing some activation and mobility work to make sure that anything that's tight gets loosened up and your body parts are primed and ready to start lifting the weight. A lot of the times during the day, if you have an office job per se, you might be sitting down majority of your day. Things like your glutes and your hamstrings become underdeveloped. your glutes become constantly stretched, and then your hamstrings can get really tight. Why is this bad? Because other muscles in your body are going to try to compensate for those weakened and tight muscles, which is bad because the body part that you're trying to work your glutes, might not be getting activated if you don't properly warm up. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of the times, trainers are required to work the floor at their gym, and it doesn't hurt to ask, like, hey, do you mind checking my form really quickly? Because 9 times out of 10, that trainer is going to be more than happy that you asked for help, and that you are wanting to make sure that you're doing an exercise properly. So number 2 is your diet, your calories. So in order to grow any muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So what does that even mean? A caloric surplus means that you are exceeding the calories that your body automatically burns during the day from just existing. So how do you figure out how many calories you are burning by just existing? This is going to be calculated by calculating your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. So that's going to tell you how many calories you burn by just being a person in the world. And once you figure out that number, you're going to want to eat more calories than you burn in order to create a proper environment for your body to grow. Lots of free programs online. If you simply just search BMR or macro calculator, sometimes macro calculators on the internet will already calculate your BMR for you. So definitely take advantage of Google and find a calculator that will calculate your BMR and then your daily macronutrient intake. Bare minimum nutrients that your body needs. For anyone asking what macros are, macronutrients are the 3 main components of nutrition that your body needs. So protein, carbs, and fats. Okay, moving on. The number 3 reason why your glutes might not be growing. You are doing too much cardio. Yes. I said it. You're doing way too much cardio. Some people might be scared off by the fact that you need to be in a caloric surplus. So you need to basically be eating lots of food in order to fuel your muscle growth. And they might want to overcompensate for eating more by doing more cardio. This is not the answer at all. I want you guys to know that in order for you to grow any muscle, any body part, you have to be in a caloric surplus, and you can't negate your caloric surplus. Your body is just going to burn through your hard-earned muscle if you're on a treadmill or the stairs for longer than an hour. You don't really need to be doing that much cardio. So everyone out there who hates cardio, you can now rejoice, because cardio is not necessary to do a ton of while you are trying to grow. Now, if you're in maintenance or if you are in a cut, you need to be in a caloric deficit, more calories than you are consuming. So, but that's totally different topic right there. And I can definitely go over that as well if any of you guys are wanting more information on that. So if you're doing too much cardio, you are going to burn through your muscle. You're going to burn through all your hard-earned work. So number 4. And this might be new to some people, but number 4 is the type of support on your feet. So your shoes, your footwear, any orthotics, any arch support, any of those things could be contributing to why your glutes are not growing. So what I mean by this, for example, say you guys all know about the Nike Free Runs. Yes, they're really lightweight, super pliable. You can bend them. They're really, really easy to run in. They are 100% for running. And I would not recommend wearing running shoes for a leg day or any type of lower body day, because they're not going to offer you the right support that you need if you're going to be lifting super, super heavy weight, which I didn't even include. This would go back to your form or your type of training that you are doing. In order for you to obtain muscle growth, obtain glute growth, lower body growth, you are definitely going to want to lift heavy weight, aggressively overload your muscles, which leads to hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is muscle growth, which your glutes are muscles. And if you would like to grow them, then you are going to need to start lifting a lot heavier and pushing yourself to lift heavier each and every week in order to see any type of improvement. So if you're worried about lifting really heavy and looking really bulky, it is not humanly possible for a female to bulk up and look like a bodybuilder without taking other types of enhancing supplements, drugs, to look like that. So it's not physically possible for a woman to bulk up and look like a bodybuilder by lifting heavy. So let's put that myth to rest right now. But yeah, I'm sorry, I go off on tangents. My brain is literally everywhere. So back to shoes and foot support. So Nike Free Runs are a no-no for leg days, because when you're lifting really heavy weight, you want a solid support, a solid foundation, and a good connection with the ground, so you're not slipping and sliding around. And if you are slipping and sliding around, your weight isn't going to be distributed where it needs to be. Your form is going to be thrown off because trying to compensate for not having enough support and being basically placed on a squishy foam pad, which is basically what Nike Free Runs are, which are great for running. You want to be running on a squishy foam cloud of a shoe. But that brings me to what shoes are good for lifting. Besides lifting shoes, like the Olympic weightlifting shoes or a CrossFit shoe or something like that, two shoes that I would recommend for weightlifting are Chucks, Chuck Taylors. I lift in Chucks for leg days, and it is the best foot support, ankle support needed, especially because it will lock your foot in place, and it is a very flat bottom shoe, which will give you great connection with the ground. Another shoe that I would recommend are the Adidas Tubular. They have a very flat surface also. Those are also leg day approved by me to keep your foot where it needs to be while you're doing your lifts. But if you guys have any more questions on shoes, or if you even want to say, hey, are these shoes good for weightlifting, just let me know. And I would be more than happy to respond to you guys and let you know if those are okay leg day shoes. So this brings us to the very last and final reason why your glutes might not be growing. You aren't giving yourself the proper amount of rest and recovery. So what I mean by this is, you would think the more you train your legs, the more that they're going to grow. Wrong, because your muscle, when you're working out, what you are doing to the muscle is tearing it. So, for example, when you get a cut on yourself and your skin tears, and around it, it kind of swells up. I would compare that to what your muscle does whenever you are training. The muscle is being torn, and afterwards it's going to swell up. So if you train your glutes, your legs, every single day, and you don't give yourself a proper amount of rest, your glutes are never going to have enough time to recover. They're never going to have time to create those new muscle fibers, which is essentially what you want, the creation of new muscle fibers and the recovery of the muscle tissue there in order for it to grow. So don't overtrain legs, glutes. I would stick to, if you're trying to grow them, twice a week, and I would at least take 2 days in between training them again, just to make sure that you have a full 2 days of rest and recovery from training that body part until you go back into the gym and destroy them again. So when you are training, make sure you're not just going through the motions. Make sure you are, like I said, executing precisely with control, even slowly if you need to. Make sure that you're doing it correctly so your time is not wasted by just going in the gym, going through the motions, and hoping that your glutes are going to grow. And also, this relates to rest and recovery, is when you're in the gym, don't do too many exercises. So you want to pick about 5 or 6 good exercises, 5 or 6 different movements. Make sure that you make the most of those 5 exercises while you're there. So if by the end of your workout you're not sweating, on leg days though, I will tell you this, I always break a sweat. Always, every single time. Even when I'm like, yeah, I guess it's going to be a light leg day, I always happen to be ending up dripping in sweat. So you want to make sure you're sweating. You want to make sure you're fatiguing yourself. You want to be finishing these exercises that you're doing and make sure that you're getting tired. It's starting to burn. It's starting to ache near your last and final reps each time you're doing a set. Because if not, if you are just being like, yeah, I guess, I'll do this like squat or whatever, and I'll do 3 here, and then yeah, I did it. It's not really doing anything. You need to make sure you're choosing a heavy enough weight. You need to make sure that you are fatiguing yourself towards the last couple reps, like the last 2 or 3 reps. You should be pretty close to not being able to even do the exercise to begin with. That's how you should be pushing yourself. And if you need to ask someone to spot you in order to give yourself kind of that safety net, definitely take those precautions. Ask for help when you need it, because this is your journey and this is your body that you're trying to grow and you're trying to transform. So take that seriously. Take it into account that your time in the gym should be meaningful. It should be 45 minutes to an hour of non-stop hard work, because that's the only way that you are going to make these gains is by constantly challenging your muscles each and every week. So either upping your weight, doing more repetitions, and perfecting your form. All of those things are going to contribute to growing your glutes. So if you're still with me, if you're still listening to this audio track. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the love that you guys give me, and all the feedback and all of the participation that you guys give me when I do the polls on my Instagram story. I'm really just happy to be able to even provide content like this for you guys in order to help you in your own personal journey. Yeah, I hope that you guys, I've given you some valuable information. I've given you some things that you may not have heard before, and that I have been able to give you some more insight as to why your glutes might not be growing. And like I said before, if you do have any questions, please reach out. If you have any topics that you would like me to go over, please reach out. Send me a DM on Instagram, or you can also email me. My email link is in my Instagram bio, fitbunz_cam with a K. But yeah, until next time, until the next video, you will hear me or see me in the next one.